Golf. For the pros at Tallgrass, it's a game of big money and prestige.
We're going to have the finest tournament this golf course has ever seen. My God, we're talking TV, Roy.
A game where playing around implies much more than just 18 holes.
I think I like your shack better.
And a game where the term sudden death has very recently taken on a whole new meaning.
I've seen mutilations, amputations, and decapitations.
We're dealing with a maniac using some kind of a power tool. His head had been severed clear from his shoulders. What are we going to do?
Now, they are faced with the dilemma of whether to call off the tournament.
Absolutely not.
But you still don't know what you're dealing with, do you?
Or confront the deadly killer. Blades, just when you thought it was safe to putt.
What's up, Rotters, and welcome back to the podcast that takes a deep dive into the best and worst horror films of the 80s and 90s. I'm Stevie, your VHS veteran. I hope you're all doing horrendously. This week, we have one of my favourite guests returning, actor and writer Emily Head. We met back when I did an episode of The In-Betweeners, which Emily was a regular on, playing Carly, over a decade ago. And it's all come down to this. After appearing with her father, Anthony Head, back on season 1 of Brain Rot, discussing the cult classic The Gate, I've been springing random blind choices on her each season. Previously, we discussed the film about killer silver balls and a man with a hand puppet living in a young girl's dressing table, Nightmare Weekend. Then we soared to heights unknown to discuss the Alien movie about uncomfortably forced insemination, The Incubus, and now we're taking on a 1989 TROMA movie that plays as a spoof of Jaws by replacing the shark with a possessed lawnmower at a posh country club. Yeah! I imagine this will be Emily's final appearance on the show, and I'm probably already blocked on her phone. So it was nice knowing you, Emily, and thank you for your time. Here she is, Emily Head. Happy spooky season.
And to you, Stevie Webb.
How is spooky season to you? Does it just happen, or do you get into it? Starting with the hard questions.
Yeah, the really difficult questions. I don't get into it, but only because I feel like England doesn't. I did quite a few Halloweens in LA when my dad was working out there, and they go all out, and it's amazing. And we would have, big things that we'd make for trick-or-treaters and everything. And it's a really cool experience out there. And then I went to a Halloween party here, and they were like, costumes must be a thing. And so my sister and I both made costumes, and then we turned up and were the only ones wearing costumes, and then it was a bit awkward.
That's like one of those dreams where you're like, no!
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I feel like I enjoy it, but I don't think that we really do it here.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think we do it properly, especially in cities. Like where I grew up, it was much better. There was kids lining the streets. Yeah, because it was quite country, and it was in the Wirral.
Well, I grew up in the country, and there was no one.
Really? Oh, see, we
Ever.
did have a lot, and we did it big in our house. Like we'd do apple bobbing and play different games on Halloween. But I think the more in the city, I mean, well, one, no one talks to anyone.
There is that.
Whereas, where I grew up, we all knew each other, so you'd go to all the neighbours. And the kids weren't even supervised half the time walking down the street in their little costumes.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's you go to an apartment building and you have to ask the concierge, do you mind if I enter your building and go and knock on every door? Well, I don't know.
What apartment buildings do you go?
This is the Canary Wharf area. Yeah, but stuff like that.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, everything's sort of a bit high rise, and
there's
no one really
way of
talks to
knowing,
each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Like people hide if they hear their neighbours coming out.
Oh God, yeah.
And in America, well, in LA where we were, the houses that were involved, you could tell they were involved because they had big decorations outside
Yes.
and all the lights are on and
They
everything.
put on a
Whereas,
performance.
whereas if you're planning on knocking on apartment doors, that's just quite. I don't
It's just
know how
unadvisable any
kindly
time of the
people
year,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
I think that is the thing. You have to clock who's into it by if they've got a
Yeah.
little pumpkin outside or something. But you never really see that, especially where I am. But I do think we're getting a little bit better. I think we're celebrating it a bit more. Sainsbury's are sort of getting into it a bit more. I've noticed that way
They
earlier.
are, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but that's for that's a moneymaker, I suppose. But I mean, it's
Yeah,
getting there.
true,
But I mean, I grew up watching American films where if it was set on Halloween, you're just like, oh my god, it literally looks like
Yeah.
Disneyland, but all over America.
It's
And,
incredible. It's
yeah.
amazing. Have you done Halloween in America before?
No, I never have.
It's really extraordinary, and all of the like theme parks and stuff have big Halloween horror nights
horror
and everything.
nights.
Like they just really get into it. I think I read that one of the theme parks is doing it here, or maybe they all do it here, and I'm just out of the loop.
Well,
but-
there's Fright Nights at Thorpe Park. They do
That's
that
the one.
where they get a lot of sort of local kids and throw blood on them and then get them to jump out at you.
Great.
Yeah, that actually sounds awful. I don't think I'd enjoy it. Professionally trained actors for me, please. I want London Dungeon type people. Hello, darling. This is called a stretcher. Oh dear. But I before we talk about the film, I'm just going to apologise because we're mates. I always think,
Yeah.
oh, she's made of tough stuff. I can pull something on her a little bit and test myself. And so with you, I always pick something that apart from the first time when we did the gate with your dad, but ever since then, I've always gone, oh, I've heard that's dreadful, and I've tested it out on you, and
Right, very
yeah,
good.
and every time I had to watch this in 3 sittings today's film.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just had to stop a couple of times. So I've given you another one that I've just gone in blind, and it's Blades from 1989. Now I don't know how familiar you are with the movie Jaws.
Yes. Now, see, I am familiar with it, and there were a couple of things in the film that I was like, oh, that's kind of like Jaws, but I haven't watched Jaws recently enough to have been able to really put it together.
Right.
So when I read after that it was a parody of Jaws, I was like,
Yeah.
I think I might have missed quite a lot, actually.
Right. Well, that's the thing, because I'd heard it's like spoofs Jaws, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, fine. But what I didn't realise is that's the joke for 98 minutes. That it's because for me, like this was fun until it wasn't, because really what they're doing is a sketch. What should be a sketch that's taken up a whole movie.
Yeah, but it also took itself really seriously.
That's the thing. It's so earnest.
For a parody, I think that's why I didn't quite clock, because there was, as I say, there were a couple of references to Jaws that I picked up on.
Yeah.
But then there was also like Jason in the Mask. So I was like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
there are just loads of references to horror movies that I haven't seen.
Right.
But then when I read afterwards that, it was supposed to be a parody of Jaws, I was like, but it's so serious and so much about golf.
Well, there's
a
literal moments where we're just watching golf.
Just watching golf. I have a note being like, this seems to be mainly about golf. We're just watching a tournament at one point.
When the tournament happens, there's this 15-minute section in the middle where I'm literally watching people golf and one guy cheating.
Yeah.
was
Which everyone's
wild.
really angry about. But then I don't remember, like, golf being a part of Jaws.
No,
So I don't...
But I was trying to think, what is that? So is that because in Jaws, the mayor isn't going to shut down the beach because even though there's
Yes.
been a shark attack, he wants to keep it quiet because there's going to be lots of people coming for this sort of summer party opening Amity.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing that is replacing that, like he's allowing all the people to come even though there is a lawnmower on the loose. I mean, that's we've skirted around talking about what actually is the core of this movie, because in place of the shark is a lawnmower.
Which is so random.
It's so random.
It's so random.
And what I
Like-
also love, you know, Jaws famously, the stories that the shark didn't work. There's even a play at the moment on Broadway, you know, the shark is broken. And the thing is with Steven Spielberg, they tested the shark, they got it all ready and in tanks, and they were like, great. And then as soon as they put it in the actual sea, it sort of eroded and it sank. And that's because it was salt water, and they'd only been practicing with it in fresh water. And with this, they built this fucking monstrous lawnmower, and one of them was made out of foam so it could be pulled really fast, and then one was wood with an engine from a go-kart. And then they got it to the green and stuff, and the first time they shot it, its arms just like fell off and it just broke because they hadn't tried it on grass. They'd only tried it in the warehouse they built it. And it is so ironic that they're making really a parody of Jaws, and
but
then
if
this
they
happens.
kept something like that in, that would be really funny.
Yes, that's sort of the spoof element to me. Spoof means slapstick and heightened, and everyone's sort of very carry on. But as you said, this is played so straight that you're kind of going, I don't know what I'm meant to be feeling.
That's exactly it. Like I wrote down like I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. I just don't know. And because when, with like a parody or a spoof type thing, but there are things in it that are funny.
Yes.
Like the body bags going into the back of the ambulance, and one of them's labelled, spoiler alert, I mean the whole podcast is spoiler alert, but there's a bit where someone dies. And there are, obviously,
you're right.
And there are body bags going into the back of an ambulance. And one of them is labelled Mr. Simpkins, appendages assorted.
I didn't
really
see
funny.
that.
That's really funny. So it's got bits like that, but then the rest of it is really serious. And I read a review after that was like, I think it's incredible. The thing that works is how seriously all of the actors make it. But if you compare it to something like Airplane, like the characters are taking it very seriously, but the film isn't. Yeah. The creators are very tongue-in-cheek. But whereas this, I feel like the creators and the actors and the writers were all taking it very, very seriously. Yeah,
it's got such an odd tone, and that's why a lot of the references to Jaws, some of them I found very amusing. Like there's a moment where he makes them go into the barn and they're like, I think they've caught the wrong lawnmower, cut it open because
very good.
And it's the smaller one, like they do in Jaws. And there's little moments like that, but again, that's not sent up. It's just amusing to me because it's recognizable, but it's not like lol. It's so weird.
And then the Playboy magazine comes out, is like dum-dum.
That's cute. I mean, that's a cute moment. It's quite fun, but as you say, everything else is just so earnest and it's baffling. Before I ask you for a synopsis, I like to do this sometimes. So I like to look up what it was released as, what the title was in different territories, and sometimes they are mental. But we've got a few good ones here. So in Brazil, it was Massacre No Country Club. I feel like the translation is a little bit off on that one, but I think it might be. That's just literally what it is. In France, it was Devilish Blades. Okay, adding a bit to it, just to give you more of a clue of, this is a horror. Canada, it was Panic on the Green, which I really like. It sounds like a band.
It does, I was thinking that.
Greece, very literal, Killing Machine. That's what it does. In Hungary, it was The Mystery of the Golf Club. Now, that could be taken two ways, because are we talking about a singular golf club or a country golf club?
Yes. Clever.
Well, is it confusing? Because it's not about a killer golf club.
It's not anything. Well,
no. Fine.
The Mystery of the Golf Club. Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose any of these, you're kind of ruining the comparison to Jaws being like just one word
exactly
title. But,
yeah, like in Mexico where it was just called Knives, which I don't know is. I don't know why they shied away from blades. In Germany, they released it first of all as Steel Blades. Just so you don't mix them up with glass blades or
of course
wooden.
Standard,
and then obviously I don't know if that brought in the right audience, so they re-released it as Blades Made of Steel. And I was like, who got confused by Steel Blades that they needed it spelling out to Blades Made of Steel, not steel blades, not like please take them from someone.
That's great.
So a bit of a mix there. And it feels like no one gets the joke out of those by making it like, as you say, not just Jaws, Blades. It's like the mystery of the golf club. Okay.
That sounds like a ghost film.
The mystery. Well, it sounds like a Goosebumps book.
Yeah.
The horror on the golf club, the mystery. Yeah. So for anyone who decides not to watch it, I mean, I don't recommend it. Well, or do I? I don't know, because I didn't have. As I said, I watched it in 3, but it kept me engaged so much as I was questioning a lot.
Sure. Is that what you want from a film? I don't know. But I feel like maybe a way to watch it, to experience it in a way that I didn't, is to watch Jaws first and then watch
That's
Blades.
not a bad idea, yeah. I mean,
And
I picked
see
up
how
on at
they-
least 20 references, I reckon. And I haven't,
Oh,
I
wow.
have seen Jaws a lot, but I haven't watched it recently. So I'm sure there are so many more. I'm sure there are specific lines taken that went over my head.
Yeah.
But for those people who watch neither Jaws or Blades, what is it about, Emily?
So, my synopsis. A horror comedy that is somehow both, but also neither. If you didn't have a fear of lawnmowers before, you probably still won't. But if your biggest fear is a round of golf being cut short, then this will absolutely terrify you. Blades, a film about a killer lawnmower, but also a lot about golf. Which I feel we covered quite a lot in our brief chat.
No, that's bang on. It's true.
It is mainly a film about golf with a killer lawnmower thrown in. At the
I
end.
learnt quite a lot about golf.
Did you?
I think so during this. Like, I heard a few terms that I'd not known before, and now they're in the bank for next time I'm on the green. So the opening, though, I was like, okay, it could be like, I knew it was going to be Jaws, but this is cool because in the opening of Jaws, it's the girl being dragged around in the ocean, and it's teens by the campfire. And now the girl, I can't remember her name, she asks this guy Don to take her to the bathroom in a flirty way.
Yeah, well, prior to that, he's been talking with his friend about how she's too much or something.
Right.
There's a line... Jenny, let's say, is a bit overstimulative responsive.
What does that mean?
No idea. And he's like, oh no, she's a bit much. Oh no, she keeps trying to like pull me into the water. And the other guy's like, well, I'll go for a swim with her. And then she suggestively says, will you take me to the bathroom?
Which
in the field.
I obviously she means that she wants to make out and stuff, but I don't think that's the sexiest ruse, is it? Come with me to release some waste. I just like it's going. Oh, yeah, can I come?
Well, now you said it like that,
right? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it works.
It works. He wouldn't go with her into the water, but he would go with her into a
to have a piss or a shit into the bush. Now you're talking. But yeah, they're canoodling, and this is when we first get the POV shot of something travelling fast towards them, and it goes towards their faces, obviously, but we don't see what happens just yet, and then we get the Jaws music, so close to the Jaws music.
Very close to the Jaws music.
Yeah. Oh, it's
by that point, I hadn't picked up on it though.
Well, no, definitely not. I think it's just then that's when it kicks in, because it starts a bit like a slasher teen movie, and I was like, I could be into this, but then we head to the country club. I find it really interesting that this is an entire film that is a Jaws spoof, but it's not like it was a couple of years after Jaws. Jaws was mid-70s. This is nearly the 90s. It feels like a really late spoof.
Really, really late. And also, as we said, like, with references that are so specific that I definitely missed at least half of them. It's a very particular audience that you're hoping will come and watch this.
It's very niche.
Who know Jaws as well as you do. Yeah.
From 15 years ago.
From 15 years ago.
Yeah. But then we get to the country club, Tall Grass Country Club. It's the sort of place they play boule. You know, good old boule. I think that's only played in country clubs.
I think you're
that
right.
thing where you throw balls at balls. often for old people. And so Kelly, tell me what you think about Kelly. She's a proficient golfer, and she was hoping to be the new pro at the country club.
Yes. And she's very angry that she's not going to be. She also seems to just be a bit angry all the time.
Yeah. She's driven.
Fair?
I think she's driven.
Sure.
I think she's very driven because even when she's seen chopped up bodies, you know, she puts that to the back of her mind, and it's still like, I'm really angry still about this
As
pro
a
thing.
Well, you're the head pro. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Why would he do anything about it?
Well, I mean, he is the wettest person. And he's called Roy, and obviously Brody in Jaws was played by Roy Schneider, and so I think that is another little... Just for the diehards. But yeah, no, Kelly is so driven that I think that's all she sees. I do like that they have introduced a female into this main group in Jaws that normally does not contain a female. You know, Ellen Brody in Jaws, the wife, she's always back on shore. You know, she doesn't go out. But also there's the Norman, who is the manager of the country club. Yes. Now his wife, Beatrice.
Yep.
She's insatiable.
She is. And that was another storyline that went nowhere. But was a really big part of it.
For a large chunk of the film, we're very much following Beatrice's story.
Yes. Of trying to sleep with everyone else on the golf course.
Yeah. Which she does.
She does, to some degrees of success. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it was a really... that was a part of the film that, again, I think just took itself quite seriously of like, she just wants to have an affair.
Okay.
And then what? Okay, yeah, cool.
And I can't think of that being any reference to Jaws.
No.
I really can't. I think it literally just is a woman that we focus on for a while. Does she die?
No.
No. Great. Well, that's even that. Normally you focus on someone like that to see their demise and go, you know, your morals are in the wrong place and now you have your comeuppance. But no, it's just a horny wife. Fantastic. And then we get, Handsome Roy. Handsome Roy, the new pro
Roy
at the
Kent.
club. Yeah, Roy Kent.
Yeah.
Cunt. I didn't even mean that. I only just found out, you know, the bald guy, I kept writing him as bald guy until I heard his name was Dick. And it's not, it's Deke.
Yeah, Deke, yeah.
Oh, you picked up on that. Okay, he's Dick in my notes.
Okay.
Dicky cunt. Fantastic. Handsome Roy, what do we think of him then? A little bit, I don't know, wet, a little bit boring.
A little bit. Also, a big storyline for him is that he has a drinking problem.
Yes.
Which, again, I was expecting to go down the route of the airplane, I've got a drinking problem.
Yeah.
And then
some slapstick ensues.
It was just a real issue with alcohol.
Yeah, it was just that. I'm trying to think if
it was just quite serious.
That's a Jaws thing. I feel like maybe it is suggested that Chief Brody has a drinking problem, but again, then it's not spoofing it; it's just copying it.
Yeah.
By not really sending it up in any way. So it's very, very weird the way they choose to literally. It's a remake rather than a spoof.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly that.
But they all see for the first time these chopped up bodies, obviously of the teens that we saw in the before the opening credits, and that's kind of amusing because they're really chopped up and nobody reacts. And nobody reacts how a normal human would react.
No, they just stand and stare at it for a while.
Yeah, and as we say, Kelly just then goes straight into giving Roy a hard time about taking the pro slot because that's her job.
The grapefruit tournament that they keep going on about, is that a joke that I'm missing? Or is that a real thing?
I deduced that that's golf talk. Every time I didn't understand something.
We're not gonna get. Okay.
So I didn't blame myself for not getting something. It was like,
cool.
That's obviously a golf thing. But I don't know. Isn't it the grapefruit tournament or?
Yeah, I think it was the grapefruit tournament.
Do golf.
It comes up a lot.
It does.
Maybe I should have Googled it.
No, people love to write in and correct me on things.
Okay, good. Okay, great.
So I can't wait for that. Tell me what that's about, guys. What's the Grapefruit Tournament about? I love giving them something to do. But yeah, no, she's not displaying much shock or trauma about having just seen 2 bodies in 46 pieces at her workplace. So she just really wants the job. Now then, there's another guy. I called him a jester because he reminded me of a jester, but I think his name was Malcolm Simpkins, and he's the old dude.
Now what was the pan flute on his arrival?
What? He had entrance music.
He did. The only
Really?
person that had entrance music, him and his dog.
Yeah.
Had a little doo-loo-loo-loo as he appeared, and I was like, "Is that something that
It's a golf
is
thing.
something?" Maybe
It's a golf thing.
A golf thing.
Oh, well, that sounds like either that's a reference from Jaws that I do not get, or it's a reference. Maybe he's a cameo that went over our head.
I did wonder that. Yeah,
he was in some panpipe movie. I don't know, or something. It sounds like if that was there, that must have been a reference to something.
It
that
had
went
to be
over our heads.
something.
There you go,
Yeah.
something else to write in about, guys. But he's not great anyway, because every single ball he shots, puts, drives, hits with the stick. Goes into doesn't go anywhere near the open, it goes straight into the forest.
No.
And so he goes into the trees, and then he's our second kill.
Yes. Yeah.
Unseen assailant.
Third.
Still.
Technically, but yeah.
Oh yeah, true. But the unseen assailant. So
Yeah.
did you know at this point, it was about a killer lawnmower? Had you looked it up?
I hadn't looked it up. I try not to look them up before watching them because I want to get the full experience, I guess. But just on the where I watched it, it said a film about a killer lawnmower.
Oh, good.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. So none of this mystery was working on you then?
No.
No. Fantastic.
None at all.
But yeah, we get another pretty long section of Beatrice, right, when she drops by Roy's.
Yeah. Really just intensely trying it on with him.
He doesn't have much
No
of a choice.
jokes to be had.
No, there's no gags.
Not a one. But also no horror either. It was just a woman trying to sleep with a man. Successfully, actually.
It was that. It was just that. Very successfully. Even when Kelly turns up, she's not shy of it. So I have a feeling like Norman's aware of her dalliances, because she's not keeping it on the DL particularly.
Not at all.
But then we get the police chief. Chief. He turns up to the club and he's there to reassure everyone.
Yeah.
Tournament won't be postponed, even though there's been, several deaths in the local area. When he's holding that sort of town meeting, some of the hair in that room is wonderful.
Yeah.
Like proper
Yeah,
country
great.
club 80s, Marge Simpson hair. And then we get the comedy Mortician. So this is where the tone suddenly then does go into that airplane sort of caricature, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. With the body bags.
The body bags.
Simpkins' appendages are sorted, and then Simpkins' abdomen, I think it says, and then Simpkins' question mark.
Okay.
Good.
That's really good. I love that. Yeah, that's the sort of film I thought it was going to be, which can be relentless when it's an hour and a half of that. But
For sure, of course.
You know what it is. You know what you get yourself into. And he hands these sliced up golf balls to Roy, aka the crime scene evidence. Because remember, this is a crime scene. Everyone's
Massively
acting like, oh, there have been deaths, not who is killing the people.
There's people are dying brutally.
There must be
murdered.
someone behind it.
Yeah. Can we all be a little bit concerned, please?
Yeah. But yeah, he hands in the balls and goes, "Oh, these were found at the scene of the crime. You can keep it to Roy to these, but they do come in handy later." But then at this point, I mean, we've met law enforcement and we've met medical services, and I'm not saying I could do either of their jobs, but I am going to go out on a limb and say they're not the best in their respective fields.
No, I would agree with that.
But then, in my notes, this line, it just says, Roy, because I try and do everything a bit shorthand to jog my memory, and it just says, Roy discovers oil and a bald man.
Yeah, both of those
And
things
that
happen.
But this is Deke / Dick, and he is.
Yes, we don't know he's Deke yet.
No, that's right.
he's just a scary bald man in dungarees.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah, and he turns out to be the Quint character, played by Robert Shaw, who's like, oh, well, I know these waters. That was terrible. No, I can't do it. That's not the voice. But it's a very characterful voice. No. But yeah, then I think there's a ball boy that dies. He's retrieving balls.
Yeah. So then there's there's a lesson that a lot of people are having with Kelly, I think, and then
that's right.
Roy comes to watch, and they're like, "Oh, Roy, why don't you give it a go?" And he's like, "Oh no." And then I think that's around the time that we discover that he's off his game.
Yes.
Why is he the new pro?
Well, yeah.
Question.
Well, he's a kind of a famous face in golf, isn't he? So that's why
a famous face in golf.
But obviously, we see that he's not got his touch anymore.
Yeah. And then then there's a ball boy who is killed.
Yeah, in the bushes.
Front of everyone.
I think he's dragged into the bushes.
He is, yeah, but there's like a false exit first, isn't there? Where
that's right.
And they think it's going to be, and then he's not, but then he is.
Yes.
And then there's a little blood spurt.
Yeah, it's actually that bit's quite good.
Yeah,
because it's a bit slow motion. He's dragged back, and then there's a massive spurt of blood. Yeah, and that's pretty good. That's a pretty good bit. I liked it. And actually later on when we get into the final scenes after the full length tournament in the middle of the movie, a lot of the gore actually
very good.
Yeah, and again that's where playing it straight does work, because it's not too over the top that it's like, I mean, there's funny moments when you find body parts in silly positions and stuff, but the actual attacks and gore go for it quite earnestly, and it does work. Yeah. But obviously then after the ball boy, they have another town sort of meeting. And then there's going to be a, quote, maniac hunt, end quote. The official term of this police investigation is we're going to have a maniac hunt. Like everyone goes, oh, yeah, I know those.
Oh, one of them.
And then,
good. We haven't had one of them for a while.
Classic maniac hunt. And everyone has... now this I didn't enjoy, because this is not my comedy, where everyone's suddenly in army uniforms. Ride of the Valkyries is playing. Da, 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 da. That's not it. What is it?
It's fine. You won't be sued.
Oh yeah, true. You know the one I mean.
I do know the one you mean.
Just so I don't get a rights copyright lawsuit. And I think this is meant to be very funny, and this feels like. This is funny for people of a certain age. It feels very much MASH, or the stuff my dad would go, oh, yes, I get it. This is Apocalypse Now or whatever.
Yeah, and they've all got their big guns and the...
but they catch the lawnmower. But
They do.
This is the thing. Obviously, it is the wrong lawnmower, and we get that great bit where it's the wrong shark.
Yeah.
But is this to say that this lawnmower that they do catch is also sentient?
No, so Deke is found with this lawnmower.
Oh.
And they think that Deke has been going around killing everyone with a lawnmower.
And they arrest him.
Which is like such a complicated way to kill a person. If you really were a murderer.
Think about it. Think about what you're suggesting. Go through the entire thing in your head of the logistics of him killing someone with a lawnmower and them not running away or getting away. Think about that, and then think, have we got this right? And you you tell me what you deduced at the end of that.
Yeah.
Interesting. But so they've got him, and there's a bit
got
where...
him and the lawnmower.
Yeah, him and the lawnmower, and they hang up the lawnmower. There's a bit where the widow comes and slaps him, and that's a direct reference from Jaws. That's quite a famous one. That's the Mrs. The one whose son died. Kirchner, Kittner. I don't know. Anyway.
Yes, that's one that I picked up on. In a film like this, if you haven't seen Jaws, there's going to be a lot that goes by.
Well,
but it does just play very earnestly.
Yeah.
And very dramatically.
That lady has just come directly from a funeral onto the green.
She's really upset.
Yeah.
He was really happy to have you here, and yeah.
And it's played as an emotional scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a bit, is it Kelly and Roy, they go looking for the missing Bonner party, and this is where they find, like, the trashed golf court.
Yes, but before
Cut.
that, is, I believe, is Deke Slade in interrogation.
Oh, and he does his speech.
His big speech.
His big, the big speech, the Quint speech.
The speech, about how machines... He says, machines often go wrong. He's seen it happen a lot. Safety razor cuts you, a plane falls out of the sky. I'm paraphrasing. But that's the gist. And everyone's laughing. Roy Kelly and Mr. Norman are all just there. Just allowed to watch the interrogation.
Oh yeah, no, it is a real hands-on town sort of interrogation, isn't it?
Yeah. Deke's been tracking it. This is the first point that he's like, no, it's the machine. And
Yes.
Deke has been tracking it, and they're all like, he's clearly losing it.
Yes.
He'll be locked up forever.
And he's like, there's a bigger one out there.
And then it's after that we get the lawnmower strung up with the slice bag.
That's
open
funny.
and-
I actually
appreciated
smiled.
that, yeah.
And I did appreciate it. And the gag with the Playboy falling out. Very good. Nice.
Yeah, sure.
Nice reference.
And the golf balls that aren't cut up and all
Yes.
of that.
Yeah, really cute. Well done.
Great.
But then this is when we get the tournament.
Well, yeah, but then there's the Bonners.
Oh,
and we
yes.
get
And they find the golf cart.
the golf cart in the ditch, and then the tournament, which I would say
Oh my God.
is a big part of this film.
It's the entire act 2. It's the second act of the film is the tournament. And there's red herrings and actual golf footage. Couldn't care less. There's the one guy cheating. And but we get the gag that he's cheating, and they break the rule of 3 by doing it, I think, 7 times. And you're like,
at least.
have I lent on rewind?
And then we keep cutting to a man watching it on television, really annoyed that this guy Quinn is cheating. I think his name's Quinn. That he's cheating on Squire. Anyway, he's cheating. He's mad about it. It goes on for a really long time. It's like a really significant plot point.
It really is. That avails to nothing.
At this point, I felt like maybe they'd written a film about golf and then couldn't find a way to do it, so just spliced it in.
And they put the killer lawnmower in.
Yeah, because there's no rhyme or reason for us to care this much about someone cheating.
But also they were really playing as golf because they also all the cast and crew, they found it cheap to have them on the property, so everyone was staying at this country club and filming in the mornings and days, so there was no travelling back and forth. And so some of this probably was just them playing. I don't even feel like for a golf enthusiast it would be that interesting, because the way they deliver it to us is just annoying.
Yeah.
But then, luckily, the giant lawnmower arrives. And this is now we enter the third act, because that was the entire second act, the golf.
Yes.
And it starts to really kick off, because we get the cheater. The cheater gets his comeuppance and his legs get mangled.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, that was a good one. It was good. It was very good effects, actually.
Yeah, I like it. And Deke gets released, obviously, because guess what? He was right.
It is an actual killer lawnmower, yeah.
And so then, is it Kelly and Roy? Then they recruit him, basically, and all his firearms and grenades and shit like that.
Yeah, they go to him and say, we need your help, basically. You seem to know about this. That's where we see Jason with the mask.
The mask, yeah.
A nice little nod
Homage.
there.
Yeah.
They want him to help them, basically.
Yeah, because he knows his shit. He knows his lawnmowers.
Yeah. He doesn't want Kelly to be involved because this ain't no place for a woman.
Yep, classic.
Yeah, standard.
Yep.
But
You got to get it in there. The filmmakers have got to say, by the way, we don't believe in this.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to have her anyway.
But someone has to be sexist.
Yeah.
He won't do it for 10 grand, but he will do it for 20.
That's right.
Which I thought was an interesting addition.
Double as well. Well, yeah. Doubling his money, great.
Okay.
But also, What? I don't remember this ever being discussed, the money aspect of it.
No.
But
No.
I think that, again, is probably just the reference to Jaws.
Maybe.
Which,
Maybe,
again,
yeah.
is just a quote rather than,
It just happens in the film,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah, but then we get what I think is the shot, is because they take their big truck out, the three of them, and they're going on the boat, and they take the truck out, and then we get the shot, and it is this giant mower, although it's not actually as giant as you're expecting, because it's just a regular sized. It looks the same size as the one.
mower.
Yeah, same size as the one hanging up. In fact, it probably is the one hanging up.
yeah.
But the shot where it is silhouetted against the sun rising, and it's got the bait balloons. Where did the balloons come from? Again?
So they This is something that I didn't
set
understand.
traps. Yeah, me neither. I wanted to ask you.
They set traps for this lawnmower to bring it out of hiding, and they leave hay bales at all of the holes with balloons attached to it with smiley faces on it.
Do you know what? In Jaws, they have the yellow barrels.
The boy,
the boy things.
The boys, yeah.
I guess it's that, but I don't understand.
But were they bait?
Well, no, it was just so they could see it.
Yeah.
When it's coming, because the boy would rise to the surface and they could follow it to shoot it. Yeah,
that makes sense. But why they thought that if this lawnmower is going around killing people,
why hay?
But also why hay bales with balloons attached? And also, like, it actually hasn't killed that many people. Like, there was a massive tournament and it killed one person.
That's so true.
So, but they're convinced that if they go to all of the holes and put these hay bales with balloons on, it will bait him out. And it works.
Well,
and he goes after all of them, and they drive back and they go, yeah, he's been here. So why were they bait in the first place if you weren't then watching to see?
Right.
They just left them all there and then drove off, and then came back and went,
he's been.
Yeah,
He's been.
he is here.
Great. Yeah.
So then, but I guess all of it is leading up to a reason for this lawnmower to have balloons attached, I guess.
Yeah. Is the one? I don't remember it.
Well, just the fact that it's attacked these hay bales.
Oh,
That's the only reason it would have the balloons.
Of course, yeah. So that you could
from
see
the
it coming
hay
over the horizon, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like the tank boys. Sure. Okay. But we also get Deke telling us that the backstory, like, I've seen this thing before. It was my dad's mower.
Yes. Yeah. So his dad was groundskeeper at the country club.
Yes.
And it was his dad's mower, and he serviced it all the time.
Yes.
And then
those bloody Japanese mowers came in.
Yeah. The management brought in the
More
Japanese
advanced.
machines that were quicker. Oh, that was it. He used this lawnmower daily for 20 years.
Daily as well.
Daily?
That's
for
some
20
quick growing
years.
grass.
That's impressive. But they brought in these new Japanese machines. Dad refused, so they fired him. And then the next day, the father had been decapitated by the lawnmower.
Now, the question here, Emily, that I have for you, I'm assuming it wasn't sentient before when he was just using it as a lawnmower. So is his spirit in the lawnmower?
Oh.
Is it the angry dad?
Oh.
Did he actually sacrifice himself and his blood spilling onto it or something? Put his soul and his essence inside the lawnmower?
Question.
Yes?
So, the dad was decapitated by the lawnmower. Everyone said it was suicide. Deke knew otherwise. The lawnmower killed him.
Right, that's what he says, yeah.
So, but sure. And your question, interesting question, could very well be why this is now a killer lawnmower. But Deke says, I haven't seen it in years till today. Where's it been? What's it been doing?
That's true. Well, yeah, because didn't he say they took it and locked it up or something?
I think they did say that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
My only thing is why I think the essence of the father, wow, that sounds biblical, is inside the lawnmower, is because why would it turn on him now?
Absolutely. But why
Because
would
it's
it
not
turn
being
on him
used
now?
Well, yeah.
Why has it been gone for years?
And that.
And now it's come back and it's just killing everyone. Also,
Well,
why does the petrol never run out?
That's... Maybe he's been filling it up.
Maybe
himself.
It's Deke.
No, I mean,
Wait,
maybe
the
the lawnmower's
lawnmower's
been filling itself up. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'd like to see a scene of that.
Yeah. No, don't. Come on. It's already too long. Well, instead of the tournament,
Instead
I'd
of the
happily
golf
see
stuff, yeah.
See it trying to back up onto like a hose, trying to fill itself up, trying to get a drink. Yeah, I don't know. It just... Unless the lawnmower... I can't believe how seriously I am thinking about this. Unless the lawnmower is only happy when it's cutting grass, right? And oh my gosh, I've got a whole story in my head now. And so 20 years every day, it's like a dog, you know, he gets exercised every day. And then for some reason it stops because the Japanese lawnmowers are here, coming over here, taking his job. And so then he gets pissed off with Deke's dad because he's not being taken out for a chop.
Right.
And so he chops off his dad's head. No, but wait, that's just me assuming that, okay, so it was just alive always and Deke's dad knew that and was happy with that. Well, the main question is, why is it alive? Yes.
It just does nothing for years. Kills one man and then lies and then just hangs out for a while and then goes, oh, do you know what? I really want more blood. I don't know.
I wonder.
This is where I think the logic of it being a shark worked, and it being a lawnmower.
Because that's just an actual.
It's easy to lose a shark for a few years.
Yeah,
not that easy
because they work
lose
on
a
instinct and
yeah.
they're quite self-catering.
There's a big ocean out there.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Why now? Well, I guess we'll never know. That's the great mystery of Blades. You never know why it came back. One of many. Interesting. But then, I mean, this is jumping, but if it is the spirit of the dad, I'm really hanging on to this. Once it's been exploded, maybe the spirit of the dad's trying to find another power tool, because there's that stinger scene at the end where the hedge trimmer...
I liked the post-credit scene. I thought that was very funny.
Before Marvel. Yeah. They were doing post-credits. But anyway, before that, it's the big sort of them versus it. And I kind of really enjoyed this section. There's some really good moments. Yeah. There's, lots of fighting. It's coming towards the truck. It's smashing the truck. The bit where she's having to get out and change the tyre is really fun. And it's coming for her like a shark.
Yeah. I mean, I did have a few questions about this.
Shoot.
This was the point where I did have it's taken all the bait.
A seizure.
Why would it come back?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I did have all the bait. Oh yes, I see.
It did take all the bait. Why has it come back? And then also they're in a van. Why don't they follow it? And then
because they're in a vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then it's discovered that the tire's been slashed. But up until that point, they haven't tried going after it at all.
No, they wait for it to come to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It doesn't work here. On the sea, yes, I understand. You want to bring the shark to you. But when you're in a 4-wheel truck, which is the only purpose of which is to move and drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have written somewhere something about it. It's really slow. Yes, I don't believe it's that hard. So you could probably go after it on foot and beat it.
And get out of its way on foot.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen
with relative ease. No.
I enjoyed Deke's demise, though, because this is the Robert Shaw, the Quint character.
Yeah, that was good.
It was really good. And it
was done very well.
Yeah, and they pastiche the way... Even Robert Shaw sticks out his tongue when he's screaming, going, ah! But they don't do it in this is a carry-on way. Again, it's just recreating it rather than taking the piss.
But it was good. It was, it was.
And then gets his legs.
The mangled legs was a nice little bit of FX.
Yeah. And that drags him out into the open. Onto the open?
Oh.
Yeah.
Sure.
That golf term.
Is it called the open? I don't know.
The
Yes.
things or a tournament's called the Open, maybe.
Right.
The golf. I think this the word open means something
Is
in
in
golf.
there somewhere,
It's
okay.
it's golf terminology. I mean, it's just also English.
Yeah. Yes.
It
True.
means the opposite of close. But so then Kelly and Roy are left, and the truck tips. I like that because it's like the boat sinking.
Yes.
Very
Very
good.
All very nice. Yeah.
Now, when he threw the plasticine, which I assume is explosive gum.
Yes. Yeah. That was.
Had they made a point of this before?
Yes. So
missed
Deke,
it.
when he was loading the van, he was getting Kelly to load the van with all the ammunition and stuff left
Yes.
over from, I believe, the Korean War. He says.
Okay.
And then there is a bit where she loads the explosive, and he's like, "Oh, be careful with that," which again begs the question: why has it not been used until now? Why was their plan for her to pour sugar into the gas tank before let's
Exploding
use
it.
this massive chunk
Arsenal.
of explosive that we've got just sitting in the back of the van?
I mean, I guess they don't want to bring out the big gun. Well, that's what that saying means. Time to bring out the big guns. I get it, and now it makes complete sense. There you go. Answered that for you there,
Perfect,
Emily.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And they flee to the water because it's coming towards them and stuff. And those trusty golf balls that the unethical doctor gave to him, the mortician, gets them out. And also it's a bit of a full circle moment because obviously he gets his game back.
Yeah, I even wrote Roy gets his game back.
Did you?
Yeah.
On the third and final ball, and it hits that plasticine lump on it, explodes. I've written what a film. And then we get the stinger scene.
I wrote big explosion shot in 4 different ways.
Yes.
So we see it from lots of
They
different
made
angles.
sure
Yeah.
they set up every possible camera.
Yeah,
And one of them you can see is of really different quality, so that feels like it wasn't even a proper camera, it was just a
it
camcorder.
wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got it from every angle, and we saw it happen 4 times from every angle. Very good. Very good.
And then then we get the credits, and we've got the police chief talking
Rambling
throughout
on.
the credits.
Yes.
Which again I thought maybe was a reference to something that I missed.
Well, I
Maybe
didn't.
not, maybe
I
they
was
just enjoyed it.
I wasn't really listening to what he said because I heard the reporter say, "So tell us what happened," and I thought, "Well, I've just fucking watched
I've just watched it.
I don't need that." So I don't know if there's
Sure.
any information in there that we should have picked up on, but I didn't.
Fair.
But then,
I
we get a little post-credit stinger.
I really enjoyed that. I thought that was very funny. The tagline at the end, hedges just when you thought it was safe to trim. Hilarious.
Okay.
Really funny.
But yeah, so it
So
is
silly.
possession, though, I guess.
I guess that's the thing. Although with this one, I did make note that it is connected to the mains power.
It's plugged in.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have quite the same spree. There was as the lawnmower. There was a point in the film where they go out to one of the holes and it's all chaos because they find Mr. Simpkins' body, and there's 2 golf carts that drive into each other, and then like a golf bag running away from a person. I'm sure they're not called golf bags. And then
no, I think it is
another
a golf
car
bag.
reversing. Oh, good. And then another car reversing without them realizing. So I, at that point, thought like, oh, it's all
machines, all
machines.
Yeah.
But then that was never
Yeah, I do remember
referenced
that.
ever again.
Because it was like, oh, everything's possessed almost. It was chaos.
That's
chaos
what I
on the
thought.
green.
Yeah.
The mystery of the green. The golf
Mystery
club
of the
or whatever
green.
it is.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes, I thought that, but you're right. That didn't come to fruition.
No.
Okay. So, Emily, I have one last question for you.
Yes.
What's the message?
I thought you were just going to say, what?
What's the message you would take away from Blades?
The message.
Yep.
I would take away.
What's it really left with you?
Is even a killer lawnmower
Yeah.
can't make me interested in golf.
Also, golf films. Actually, Happy Gilmore. That's one golf film I know that is
Caddyshack,
good.
there's another one.
Caddyshack. Oh yeah. I mean, so actually,
I've not seen Caddyshack, but
I know of it.
know of it.
Yeah. So it's up there with the golf films, I'd say, that I've seen. The one.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know.
No.
I don't know what it was trying to.
My takeaway is, it's anti. Stick with. Oh, I keep changing. Stick to what you know.
Okay.
I'm not going to elaborate.
Is that
if
for
you
the
don't
reviewer
understand,
or for the writer?
if you don't understand why that is my takeaway, then you didn't get what I got from the film. Okay? Don't ask me to elaborate.
Yeah, okay.
That's just for me. Okay? Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, okay, cool. Great,
So that was time well spent. I've loved this
Blades.
so much because, and I knew when I was watching this, I was like, thank God it's going to be Emily talking about this, because if it was someone like, if it was like a first time guest or something who I don't really know, it's like, how do I talk about this with someone?
I even said that to people I was talking about. Oh yeah, I'm doing this podcast, and I was like, I genuinely don't know what there is to say about this.
Yeah,
I don't know. We managed it. We've done very well.
We've done an hour. We've talked about this for an hour. How? But yeah, well, that's why it's great getting you on. What's going on? Have you got anything coming up or anything happening?
I'm writing my next project. As we say in England.
Yeah, right.
Project. I don't know. I'm delirious. I've been talking about Blades for too long. And I'm also in the early-ish stages of working to get the system, my one-person show, put on live somewhere.
Oh.
Which was always the original plan. But I can't, there's not too much I can say about it because we are in the chatty stages.
I hope that happens, because that was the one that you could watch online, right?
Yes, it was.
That was that.
It was
yeah.
indeed.
I remember last time you were on, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, so hopefully the next season of Brain Rot, I can be like, come see it here.
Come see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds great. And do you think there should be another In-Betweeners film? Like a follow-on. I just thought because someone I'm on TikTok these days, and everyone on there, because
I've seen you on TikTok. You're very funny.
Oh, thank you. Everyone on there, because they're of a certain age, knows the In-Betweeners. So every time I post something, there's always people going, "Oh my God, it's the wheelchair guy," or "It's Alistair."
Right,
and I don't get
good.
that anywhere else but TikTok. And
so
some
funny.
people have all been saying, like, is there going to be a follow-up? When they're all older and they're all separated or something, and also because I want to be in it.
Sure. Sure.
But do you think that would work? I do.
I don't know. I get asked about it every now and then, and I think in some ways people would like to see where they all are now. You know, with kids and with families and what relationships and stuff. But I also feel like one of the things about the In-Betweeners boys, the four leads, is that their characters did some really awful things that are kind of endearing when they're 16, 17.
Yeah.
But seeing a 35-year-old man throw up on a child probably isn't...
Yeah, you're so right, actually. Where could you take it as them being adults? And especially in the current, especially in the last 10 years, the shift in the generation.
Oh, massive shift, for sure.
And I like a lot of it because it's all about calling people out and just kind of we're just trying to be nice to people nowadays as well, and not make people feel small and shit.
Trying to be nice.
Yeah, I like that. I like those that group of them. It's weird, isn't it? Because it would probably even have to take a complete corner and be really serious or something. I don't know.
I don't know where you could go with it that wouldn't necessarily be disappointing to some of the fans, because I think they'd want to see those characters as 35, 40-year-old men. But how long can you watch 40-year-old men talk about plunge for?
Yeah, you're right. You're so right. It's so of its time. And maybe that's the beauty of it as well, because it really encapsulates the period that it was in, that bubble of time, and the type of people from them. Because it's, as I was just saying, we've moved on so much that actually most kids aren't like that anymore at that age. They're more intelligent than any of us, and they're all, they've all got businesses and earning $1 million a week on TikTok.
Yeah, they're all starting their small businesses and.
Or maybe we wait another 10 years and then we have the kids of the in-betweeners.
That I'd like to see. I'd like to see that. I think that would be good.
Yeah, and seeing how they raise them.
Yeah, it would kind of be like what's that film? This is good. Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. Oh, yeah. When they go back to high school, and hit the guy because he's a nerd in inverted commas, and then they're like, "Well, that's just cool. A hate crime.
That's not cool."
Like,
yeah,
exactly. Like seeing what was cool when they were in high school.
What was acceptable?
Cool.
Something like that. I think that would work.
Yeah,
amazing. Well, in case I don't see you, happy Halloween, happy bonfire night, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year. But I hope I do see you before New Year.
I hope I do.
That would be nice.
It's a really long
That'd
time.
be nice. It's still quite a while. Thank you so much once again for.
Of course, thank you for having me. That is golf. Good.
Yeah. Well see. Thank you, babe.
No worries.
There we go. Thank you to my dear friend Emily so much. Thank you for being such a sport. Sport, golf. Anyway, next week our episode will be dropping on Tuesday rather than Monday, as Tuesday is what? Halloween, my friends. Yes, we will be discussing the 1984 slasher Rocktober Blood, currently streaming on Shudder. So get watching, and I'll see you then. Until then, rotters, toodles.